Well, thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Fast Five here on QTCast TV, bringing you five quick stories that, pretty much not so many people in the mainstream media are talking about. And, with all the insanity between the firings at Fox News and CNN and many other things that have just kept everyone else attention to, there's a plenty of other stories out there that people should be talking about that are, important, that should be out there in the mix. So let's just get started. Well, with the fourth anniversary of the tragic events in Japan at the Kyoto District Court, the Kyoto Animation arson trial is about to go into pre-trial next month in May. If you're familiar with that, Shinjo Abe, who's the prime suspect, has confessed to arson that back in 2019 killed 36 people and injured another 33, which was a big tragedy to this animation studio. The families are finally going to get their justice that they deserve for their family members that passed away and those injured. It has been overwhelming for the people at the Kyoto Animation Studios. Next, Bam Margera is in deep trouble with the Pennsylvania State Police. They have issued a warrant for his arrest. If you're familiar with Bam, he's the skateboarder who was also in episodes and, of course, several movies of Jackass, and had his own TV series for a while. According to the investigation, there was some sort of physical confrontation with Bam Margera with minor injuries, the police had reported, but basically he had fled and has not been found ever since. Bam Margera has been in deep water before, including that he was not allowed to be in the last Jackass movie as he's going through rehab. Well, in anime news, if you're familiar with that new anime that's destined possibly to be the number one anime of the year, that's on the contendership, Oshi no Ko, as it premiered on High Dive, that's where you can watch this on High Dive. Supposedly, it has broken all records on the streaming platform on there, including locking in the most free trials added of all time. The series launched on April 12th, followed by a North American premiere at Anime in Boston. This series seems to be very interesting on there. It's sort of a comedy, pop singer, and murder mystery all rolled up in one, including a reincarnation on there. So it's almost like a half isekai in a way. If you know that one of the main characters gets killed and resurrected as the child of his favorite pop singer. So do catch that on High Dive. Then in indie comic news, if you're familiar with the YouTuber Razor Fist, he joined forces with George Alex Paulus, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, that they're coming out with a graphic novel, sort of a homage to the High Plains Drifter and Pale Rider movies. He was toting this off on Friday Night Tights last week. When by the time the show ended, they had already raised on Indiegogo about $80,000 of a $50,000 goal. As of this week, coming close, he should be, by the time you grab this video, he'll be probably well over $200,000. This is one thing that it proves that basically indie comics like this is what the people want, and when will the industry figure this out? I mean, the pages on there are very good. I've also included in the description below the link to the Indiegogo page if you want to donate and order one of the comics itself. It's a 100-page comic, so it's well worth the $25 price. And finally, well, if you haven't realized it, this past Friday, Joe Bob Briggs has returned back again, once again, for a 5th season at Shudder. That's right, folks. If you don't have Shudder now, this is the time to get it. Season 5, Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy the Mail Girl, with great films. If you're familiar with Joe Bob Briggs, you know the type of show he puts out with these movies, going back to my favorite, Monster Vision, back on TNT. He's had great guests on so far. Even Svengoolie has been on. If you haven't seen the Svengoolie episode, it's out there. And he has a bunch of specials. So if you haven't subscribed yet to Shudder, it's only a couple of bucks a month. They have some great movies. They do have a live feed, which basically every Friday night, Joe Bob Briggs does air on there. But it is stored for re-airing at your convenience. It's about a day or two later before you're able to click on it. So it's great to have him back for a 5th season. He still has the big fan base that he's always had for many, many years on there. Like I said, I watched him on Monster Vision. I loved it. I was disappointed when Monster Vision was canceled. He gave the fun to watch this. It's the same thing with Svengoolie and same thing with Mystery Science Theater 3000. These guys, they know how to make a film more enjoyable, which is very hard to do on some of these films that they're just not not the greatest film in the world on some of them. But then there are some that he pulls out some great films out there that most people don't tend to look at on a constant basis. That you don't hear it talked word of mouth. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts on these 5 stories that we've given you today. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share. We'll see you on the next one on next Thursday for another edition of the Fast 5. And don't forget, Madman Cafe does return for new episodes very soon, starting in May. Hopefully we'll be able to get that started back up again. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.